here they are, your Wealth Warriors. Megan and Ryan Hobbs, Daniel Cho, Nathan Bokers, Tyler Van Taken, Ignacio Miguel, and Ankush Shetty.
Good Tuesday morning to you all. Thanks for joining us. It is Tyler and Ryan with the Wealth Warriors. You guys get us today, this morning. The other Wealth Warriors are out doing their thing. They're shaking and moving in their businesses, as you would say. But again, good morning. Welcome to our show. It is Talk About It Tuesday. It's been quite a bit since Tyler and I have just been on, just the two of us. We've been doing so much with the Wealth Warriors here lately. But it's been absolutely amazing and great to see our students absolutely crushing it. We've got one student that I just talked with this last weekend, and I don't even know that I talked with Tyler about this before we went live. She is actually able to put her 2 weeks notice in for her job. She's been doing affiliate marketing for a little over a year, and she is now able to put her 2 weeks in her job. So it's absolutely great to see that. Wonderful to see that. We will actually be having her in on an interview sometime this week if we can get all the logistics worked out of the who, what, where, and when. So again, thank you guys for joining us. It is Talk About It Tuesday. If you're watching us live, make sure that you leave us a hashtag live. If you're watching this on a replay, feel free to leave us that hashtag replay. And as always, if you guys have any questions during the broadcast, if you're working in your business and you've got questions, you'd like our input, feel free to put those comments down. Just leave us a comment and we'll make sure that we answer those. So good morning, Tyler. How's it going?
Good morning, guys. It's going really, really good. Had an awesome weekend with another one of the Wealth Warriors, Nathan Bokers. Came out from Alberta, spent some time here on the West Coast for the weekend. We did some fishing, had some great food, had some good laughs, had some good chats. It was a really positive weekend. I think both of us were feeling a bit burnt out in our businesses, creating content, doing all those kind of things, and getting together and having that opportunity to kind of bounce off each other and amp each other up and have that energy around was really good. And I know that we're both feeling a lot better this week, just about diving into things and keeping that momentum going. Momentum is a struggle that we all struggle with from time to time, and I'm super guilty of it, guys. I'll be honest about it. There's times in my business when, I don't feel the motivation, and, I let that take over sometimes, and I get a bit lazy, or I get a little bit lackadaisical, or I get a little bit complacent with the things that I should be doing. And I see the, I see what happens when I do that. I see the decline in my content, my views, and the conversations that I have, and all those kind of things, right? So, and that's not to say that any of that stuff is bad or wrong or any of that kind of thing. I mean, we all go through it. We all will go through it. It's just a part of being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, learning to grow, learning to be okay with doing the things that you might not feel like doing, but having the discipline to still push forward. Sometimes I don't have that discipline, but I'm learning to acquire that discipline, and just push forward and push on, because we say it every time, and we say it all the time, is if you stop or you quit, then you're guaranteed to get nothing. It's okay to take breaks from time to time, but don't forget that your breaks can't last too long. Otherwise, things really start to take a dip, and you're gonna notice things in your business, and you're gonna notice things about yourself, that start to become a little bit worrisome, I guess, or just the fact that you're like, oh man, okay, like I got all these things I got to accomplish, and to-do lists don't really end, and they keep piling on, and things keep happening in the background, and eventually, no matter what, you're going to have to get to those tasks and get them done. But that's just part of life. It's part of growth. It's part of being an entrepreneur, and we all go through different stages and different paths in our business, and just something that I wanted to share with you guys this morning, because that's honestly real life, and something that we all have to work through in our own ways. And I'm just really fortunate that Nathan was able to come out this weekend and kind of give me a jump start and give me a boost, and really push me in the right direction. And it comes down to, again, having that tribe, having those positive influences in your life, having that support system. I mean, we here as the Wealth Warriors, we're not only here to support you guys, we honestly support each other like massively. We have a Facebook group that we all talk in on a more than a daily basis, on an hourly basis. We're in there talking and chatting, boosting each other up, sharing each other's wins, sharing each other's losses, sharing motivation, all that kind of stuff to keep everybody moving in the right direction, and to help each other in times of need and things like that. And I think that's really important to recognize for everybody. Like, none of us go this alone. We don't. All of us each have our own individual businesses, yeah, but none of us are doing this alone. We're all doing this together. We're all here to support each other. We're all here to bring positivity to each other, and to make sure that nobody kind of gets left behind. And I think that that's really important to recognize, because you don't have to go it alone. And going it alone is honestly, it's the hardest way to do it. If you go it alone, it's going to be a real hard road, a harder road than it already is. And so, find your people, find your tribe, and you'll have a much better chance at staying motivated, staying successful, keeping that momentum going. I think is super important. So
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's this morning is a perfect example of that. Megan and I in our business, we had an issue take place that wasn't one of the greatest things. Tyler knows what I'm kind of referring to. We had a little bit of an incident that took place this morning, and it's one of those things where if we didn't have that tribe, if we didn't have that community to be able to reach out and kind of vent and talk with people, it would have been a very difficult time. It would have, probably drug us down into that whole valley of despair as we got to thinking about that. And, it was great because as we reached out to other people, we also realized, and we knew in the back of our mind that, little things like this that happen, they're going to happen along your road as an entrepreneur, right? Everything's not rainbows and unicorns. I'm sorry to tell you that. That's just the way it is. So, if that's what you were thinking, sorry. But, when we have those times that happen, and those things that get us down, we have to weigh, the the pros and the cons here. Yes, I could have stomped around, threw a fit, had a tantrum this morning, got all negative, and focused on the bad thing that happened. But I know, and through the community of talking with other people, it's like, hey, this really isn't worth it. This is a small hiccup in the grand scheme of things. So it's not really worth our energy and our time to focus on that. So let's focus on more positive things. Hey, let's go live. Let's talk with people. Let's help other people solve their problems. This just because this one person, we weren't able to help them, it happens. But focus on what we can do. Focus on the fact that we can help people get started. We can help people get to the point where they can quit their job, just like that one that we found out about this weekend. Those are the things that keep us driving forward. Talking about those positive things, and what we focus on really is a major part of how we progress forward in our business. A lot of us, I talked with Daniel about this a little bit on Friday. He and I went live and we talked about opportunity and risk. A lot of times opportunity is disguised as risk, you know, and we get so into the mindset of as soon as something is presented to us, whether it's a new venture, a new idea, something different, a lot of times it looks like it's a risk. And most of the time, it's an opportunity disguised as a risk. And what I mean by that is, you know, we're all searching for opportunity, right? We're all searching for an opportunity to better ourselves, to get in a better place. For me, a couple of years ago, it was the fact that I just lost my job, and I didn't want to go back to a 9 to 5. So I was looking for opportunity out there in the world, in the online business world. Yeah, I was on TikTok like many of you, scrolling and seeing people do these different things. They're, hey, I'm, a single dad, able to spend all my time with my kids and my family, and, help them provide a great, life for them because I'm doing stuff online. And, I would see these stories day after day after day, and thinking, man, how did they get that opportunity? And then I started to look into it and I'm like, well, okay, this is the opportunity that they took, but man, that's awful risky. What if I don't make that happen? What if I don't make that work for me? Man, that's a risk. It's a huge risk. But again, the opportunity is there behind that risk. And we had to learn how to take calculated risks. I know most of us just inherently aren't ready to go out there and say, all right, I'm ready to jump off the cliff. Let's see what happens. You know, not a lot of us have that adrenaline to be like, all right, throw all of our cares to the wind, and I'm just going to go for it. So we look at these risks and we say, okay, well, is it worth it? What happens? What happens if I lose here? What happens if this doesn't work out for me? And along our journey, we had those thoughts and those times where it was like, oh, did we do the right thing? I know Tyler knows what I'm talking about. I mean, there's been times where we second guess what we're doing and the path that we go down. But in the end, as we look back at things, I always say, whenever I lost my job back in 2020, it was like, well, I unfortunately lost my job, and that's what got me into this. And now I look at it and go, well, fortunately, I lost my job, and that's what gave me the opportunity to be able to do this. And I look back at things going, yes, they were risks at the time, but if you do your research, if you do the look, if you look into things, do your due diligence, figure out, is this something that I can work for? Is this something that I can do? And most of us can. It's just a matter of taking that step towards enacting on that risk or that opportunity to allow us to have a better life. And a lot of times we avoid the very thing that we're looking for. We're looking for opportunities, but yet we turn them around, we turn them away, or we avoid them because there is a risk involved with that opportunity. I would love to be able to say that every risk that you take is 100% going to work in your favor, and it's not. Tyler and I have been through several different programs where we may have invested money into and realized, all right, well, that wasn't the right thing to do. Maybe the program wasn't meant for us, or we didn't really jive with it. We didn't really gain a lot of information out of it. Maybe that was the case. We've had programs that we have been into that, I'm not necessarily going to call them a scam, but they were borderline right there on it. And so these were all things that we tried and took risks on doing. And had we not taken those risks, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. Wouldn't you agree, Tyler?
Absolutely. I mean, everything is a learning experience. Every opportunity is a learning experience. Win, lose, or draw. The worst thing you can do is do nothing and not, try and take an opportunity for what it is and see what it is that you can accomplish through that. And you know, I don't know if this is Brad Lee's quote or someone's quote, but I saw a video from Brad Lee recently, and I'm also reading the book Straight Line Leadership, and it talks a lot about the things you do day to day. You have to look at them. Is what I'm doing right now helping me move forward towards the goal that I want to achieve? And it's not only the things that you're doing day to day or the activities that you're working on right now, but it's also like, Ryan said, there was a bit of an issue this morning that we had to deal with. And is thinking about that situation negatively going to help me progress throughout my day? And ultimately the answer was no, it's not really. We just have to set it aside, or let it just be, move on, and start looking at the positive aspects, because it's the positive things that are going to help us move forward in our day and move forward in our business, move forward with the daily activities that we have to get done. If we focus on the negative aspects, it's going to drag us down. We're going to get complacent. We're going to, not feel like doing something. And then those feelings are going to turn into, oh, well, maybe today I'll just watch Netflix and, go for a dog walk and, maybe take a break from my business. And guys, I mean, I've done this. Believe me, this is not me saying to you guys that this is all wrong. I mean, this stuff happens. But to try and recognize it more and more as the days go on, and as you become entrepreneurs, and as you become more self-aware about who you are and where you want to be, these are the things that you can ask yourself, is what I'm thinking about right now going to help me progress in my daily life, in my well-being, in my mental health, in my business, all these things? If the answer is no, then it's time to drop it, and it's time to focus on something that is going to help you progress in your all around situation, daily life, mental health, business, all that kind of stuff, right? So just keep moving forward. Always be moving forward. Always always ask yourself those important questions. You know, if you feel something coming on, or you're feeling discouraged, or something's happened, and like, I mean, things happen all the time, right? You know, things that can bring negative aspects into your life, and before you get so far into the gravel pit with that negative whatever it is, simply just ask yourself, is this going to help me in the long run to really dwell on whatever it is that I'm dwelling on, whether it's an activity, whether it's an emotion, whether it's, something that's happened. Ultimately, the answer is we can always push through it. You can always push through it. There's always a way to overcome that obstacle, and really it comes down to, one foot in front of the other, and, one activity in front of the other, and just find something that is going to be uh, a motivator for you in your business, a motivator for you in your life. Go and do that activity, knock that one out the park. I can't remember what general it was, but he always said, make your bed first thing in the morning, complete that one task, and then move on to the next task and move on to the next task. If you find yourself in la la land and no man's land trying to do all these things and there's no task being completed, be self-aware enough to say, okay, I need to find a task that I can do right now, that I can complete, and I can give myself a pat on the back and say, hey, I've completed this task, and now I'm going to move on to the next one. Because it's that feeling of being accomplished and accomplishing something that is going to help you accomplish the next task in your business, in your life. And I think that's really important for everyone to recognize. And guys, this doesn't come easy, and it doesn't come simple, but it comes with becoming more self-aware, becoming an entrepreneur, building your mindset, growing, all those things, right? So yeah, just always one foot in front of the other. And I promise you that you will be able to overcome those obstacles as long as you keep moving forward. Don't sit in the past, don't dwell in the past. The past is the past. There's nothing you can do about the past, honestly. Like, and this is something that I've done throughout my life, is dwelled on past experiences, or dwelled on something that I've done or I've said or whatever. But ultimately, it doesn't really matter, because you know um, you can, like, seriously, you can fuck up your life so bad. You can seriously jack yourself way up and be extremely negative. And if you're self-aware enough to put yourself back into a positive mindset, to change, to shift the way you think, all of that just goes away. All of that just becomes noise in the background that you don't even have to listen to, and you can literally change everything moving forward. It's just stuff that's happened, and it's no big deal. It's a learning experience. It's growth. And once you realize that, it becomes like white noise almost back there, where you don't even have to pay attention to it. All you're focusing on is the present right now and the future that you want to get to. And that's really all that matters, because you can change whatever you want to change. You ultimately have you have the power to change whatever it is that you want to change. You really can.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And
well,
we all have that opportunity. We all have that risk or that opportunity that we can change things for us. So, exactly. We do
absolutely.
we do have a question here from one of our users this morning, Facebook user. Where is the best place to learn copywriting? So, Tyler, it's very interesting that this particular question comes up, because Tyler and I were just talking about copywriting this morning. There's a lot of good places to go and learn copywriting. I know for me, Copywriting Secrets by Jim Edwards was a great book for me to read that really helped with copywriting. And also, there are nice little tips and tricks and tools out there for you to use as well. I know we use it's a copywriting software sometimes that it can help us generate better ideas by just putting in a couple of the keywords that we want to talk about. I'm not sure who this user is, but I think Tyler, I think if you've got a link for them, we can post that in our groups. If somebody's interested in that, reach out to us. We'll get you that software that we utilize. It really helps. It's more of an AI software that helps us really with copywriting. It's been a very, very useful tool for both of us, I know. When it comes down to like copywriting, there's a ton of resources out there. look at what other people are doing. Mimic some of that. I know there's a lot of copy and paste that goes on, but not only just copy and paste. And this is kind of what Tyler and I were talking about this morning. Not just copying and pasting, but realizing and looking into what exactly they are doing in that copy. Okay. It's super easy to go grab somebody else's copy, hit the copy paste button, go over, put it on yours and publish it. But look at it, actually read it and figure out what exactly they're doing. Why did they use these words? What did that matter? A lot of copy is just about telling your story. Telling your story is a big part of what we do. And it's how we engage a lot of times with our audience, how we relate with people. So many new people get started in this industry. And they're like, well, dude, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Like a lot of people, whenever it comes to the time to go live for the very first time, they're like, well, I don't know what to do. Just tell your story. It's that simple, guys. It is very simple. Just tell your story. People want to know where you came from. They want to know, how you got where you're at. Whether you're successful already or whether you're just getting started. People want to know how you got where you're at. And for me, it's been an awesome thing, telling my story. And most of us, when we first get started, and I'm working with a client right now that's very close to this. We talked about this the other day is, our story, sometimes we don't think we have a good story. When I look at myself compared to like Nathan Bokers, our fellow Wealth Warrior coach, I look at his story and I'm like, man, he's got a story. The way he tells it and the way he talks about where he came from and what he did to crawl out of the position or the situation that he was in and found success. I'm like, dude, that's a story. All I did was got canned, lost my job. There wasn't nothing special about that. How many of us out there have had that happen in the past? And so I'm like looking at myself in the mirror going, well, there's nothing special about that. Other people have had that opportunity, but comes back to the word opportunity. Yeah, we've all maybe endured something where, we've lost a job or we were, down and out on our luck, but it's what we did after that that really makes our story. Okay. A lot of people that I talk with have hardships and they want to come out here and they want to be successful with online marketing and online business, but they don't have the drive to do it and be successful with it. And so therefore their story gets cut short. They're not willing to put the work and the effort into what it takes to be successful. They want it, but they don't want to do the work that it takes to get there. Okay. And so their story falls short. But I promise you, if you can utilize what Tyler and I are bringing to you, what the Wealth Warriors are bringing to you with the trainings that we do, with the programs that we offer, and you follow through with these opportunities, you can change your life and create your own story. And that's where creating that story and telling that story is so important. My story wouldn't be that great if we didn't succeed. If we just started this and then we're like, it doesn't work, and I went back to work at a 9 to 5, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have a story to tell, right? And so the fact that we've had hardships, we've had our ups and our downs, we've had successes, we've had failures along the road. That's just human nature. We're going to have failures. This is unknown. This was unknown to us. When we started 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, we didn't know how to do this stuff. I didn't know how to go live. I didn't know how to have a broadcast to where I could have 2 people or 5 people on a broadcast and share a screen. I didn't know any of this stuff. This is all stuff that we learned, and we worked hard to learn that stuff, and now we've got a story, and I can say, hey, yes, I started out in drop shipping, and it sucked. We lost a lot of money. I thought, well, this is easy. I can do this. And it was easy. There wasn't a whole lot to it, as long as I had a whole bunch of money that I could dump into it and not worry about losing, which a lot of us don't. And there was other issues that we had along the road with the drop shipping, and then, ultimately it failed, and we found affiliate marketing. And that was a risk for me to say, okay, I want to do this instead of the drop shipping. I've already failed at one thing. Let me see if I can fail at another, maybe, But I didn't take that attitude with it. I was like, all right, look, there's enough people out here that are making this work and saying that, hey, I'm doing affiliate marketing and I'm doing really well for myself. Awesome. Great. How you doing it? Just like you took a course, took another course, jumped into a program, grabbed a coach, grabbed a mentor, started talking with other people, but I kept at it. Day after day, I kept at it. Reading books. Again, I've told this story before. 2 years ago, I didn't read books. When the first program that I jumped in, see, Tyler's the same way. The first program that we jumped into, the first little training that we joined, they suggested that I grab a book. I'm like, ugh, I hate books. I don't want to read. I'd rather be out on my boat fishing. But I was like, you know what? I'm liking what I see so far. What they're telling me seems to be, it makes sense to me. So, okay, they're telling me I need to read this book. I'll give it a fair shake, give it the old college try, right? So I grabbed the book. Come home, I start reading it. Megan finds me on the couch reading a book, and she wants to call an ambulance because she thinks that there's something wrong with me. Because in the 10 years we've been together, I'd never picked up a book. And I always make the joke that I don't even think she knew I could read because that's how little I read when I was around her. But here she is. She sees me on the couch reading a book and wants to know what's up. But it was because of that book that got us started in our journey. That's what helped us get going. And so we continue. I've got a bookshelf. I've got books back here behind me, with some of our plaques. I've got another bookshelf over here full of books. And over the last couple of years, I've read more books in the last 2 years than I have the other 40 years of my life. Because I know that this is the path to success. I have to find out what other people did. I have to mirror what they've done. And how do I learn how to do that? It's through the reading of books. Now, I'm not a bookworm. You're not going to catch me every hour of the day sitting down reading a book. Most of the time, I will buy a book, and then I'll go see if I can find the Audible version of it so that I can listen to it. Okay? Now, I'll follow along in the book. It just depends on how you comprehend the information in it. And the other part of this is I'm not only reading books, but I'm implementing what I'm learning in these books. A great mentor, of mine when we first got started was like, look, if you don't have intent of doing anything, then don't do it. What good is it to you to read a book if you don't intend on implementing what you're learning in that book? That's just a waste of time. So I took that to heart, and that's what I do. Now I read books, and I implement when I learn. Implement as I go along. And I know Tyler does the same thing. He just talked about Straight Line Leadership. That's a book that he's reading right now. Our current mentor that we're both absolutely over the moon with and doing great things with, he suggested this book. Now, for me, I haven't gotten that book yet. I'm going to, but I've got others on my list that I'm reading right now. But it's all about moving forward and learning. Getting outside of our comfort zone. For me, reading a book was outside of my comfort zone because, again, honestly, I'm not a big reader, never have been. It's not something that I wanted to spend my time doing. But I've learned that this is something that I need to do to be successful in my business, so therefore I do it. And it works. So like many of you that are out there thinking about getting started, or maybe you've gotten into that valley of despair, or maybe you have been trying to do something, but it's just not working for you. That's where this is an opportunity for you guys to kind of come join us as the Wealth Warriors. Join our team. What we've been able to do with the Wealth Warrior team and our current mentor, our 7-figure mentor that we have right now, is absolutely just mind-blowing. It's crazy the results that not only we are getting, Tyler's got his awards behind him. I've got our awards behind me. It's wonderful that we've been able to find success with this, but we are bringing people in that are brand spanking new at this, or people that have been struggling for months, even years with this industry and not having the success that they're looking for. They're joining this team, they're joining this program, and they're starting to see results. A lot of our students are starting to see their first 10K in commissions within 90 days. That's crazy. That is crazy. There's a lot of people doing this. And if you want part of that opportunity, if you want to learn more about what it is that we're doing, all you got to do is reach out to us. Leave us a hashtag I want in, or a hashtag I want more info. All you've got to do is reach out, ask for the information, and we'll be glad to get the information to you. As a bonus for people coming into the program that we're talking about here, You get lifetime weekly coaching from the Wealth Warrior coaches. Now, for those of you that are new to the Wealth Warriors, we're a team of 7 coaches that have been successful in the affiliate marketing space and have grossed over $500,000 in commissions over the last couple of years. And that's pretty powerful for this group of people to amass that kind of results. And we're taking exactly what we've learned and passing that along to you guys so that you can be successful in your own businesses. So again, if you guys are interested in this opportunity, all you got to do is leave us a hashtag I want in, a hashtag Wealth Warriors, and we'll be happy to talk with you more about the program that we're in and we're offering other people. I think you're muted there, Tyler.
Sorry, I just want to touch quickly back on that. Where's the best place to learn copywriting? And something that when I started reading Copywriting Secrets by Jim Edwards as well, in the book he kind of talks about copywriting is truly everywhere, from radio commercials to TV commercials to billboards to posters at your workplace, whether you work at a car dealership or you work at a mechanic shop or you work at Save On Foods or Safeway or Walmart or whatever. There's copywriting everywhere that is attracting your attention. And one of the best ways to learn copywriting is to start to become aware of the copywriting that is catching your attention. Whether you're scrolling through social media, whether you're reading the newspaper, any of that kind of stuff is copywriting, and it is attracting your attention. And if you can look at it through the lens of a copywriter or of a marketer and say, well, hold on a minute here, that actually really intrigued me and really captured my attention. What was it about that particular piece of writing that really brought me in and drew me into that and wanted me to read more, or wanted me to find out more about that product, whatever it is, right? Like it doesn't have to necessarily be a product that is in your niche. It could be just something off of the store shelf. But what was the language? What was the wording that they were using that actually drew you into that? And then how can you relate that back to your business? How can you potentially use some of that copywriting to fit within your niche? Because copywriting isn't a one size fits all. A lot of copywriting can be used across multiple niches, across multiple products. You just have to find out how you can make it work for you. And that's something that I really very really early on when I was starting out, I really wanted to think like a marketer. So I started listening to radio again, and I started watching a little bit of TV, and I started kind of looking at some of the YouTube ads that come up on YouTube once in a while, not because I want to waste time and look at the ad, but because I was actively wanting to learn how to do copywriting, how to become a better marketer, look at what other people are doing, how they're capturing their audience, how they're making their audience feel, how they're becoming like interested and intrigued and building up that suspense, right? So it's honestly everywhere, and it's going to take time. Copywriting is not a skill that you're just going to pick up overnight. Copywriting in itself is a multi-6, multi-7-figure industry, and something that you can very easily make a full-time income on if you become, a good copywriter. But it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's going to be something that's going to be a learned skill that's going to take time. But I encourage all of you to really start looking at some of the things that are captivating you and drawing you in to some of the products that you have around you, to really help you become an effective copywriter. And then I saw another question here. Ryan's probably going to throw it up on the screen, but you guys look so comfortable in front of the camera. How did you do it? It's so hard. And I mean, the truth is, and this is the honest truth, guys, is that Ryan and I are comfortable on camera, for me, for one reason only, and that's because Ryan and I do this together. I get to bounce off of him. He gets to bounce off of me. We get to have a bit of a conversation and then talk to you guys. And, if I stumble or I get lost, Ryan can take over because there's probably a thought that's come into his mind where he's like, I'd like to share that, or vice versa, right? And that's really how we've become more comfortable on camera. And, through filming content and creating content, it's become easier and easier and easier, but for me, I still struggle with going live by myself. I struggle with what to talk about. I don't necessarily get engagement right out of the gate. I might have to be live for 15 or 20 minutes before I get somebody that's going to ask me a decent question to where I can talk for a few minutes. So it's not an easy thing, but you have to start somewhere. And believe me, I've done my fair share of lives alone. I've done my fair share of stumbling, and that's okay. That also makes you relatable. You're not meant to be perfect 100% of the time. Perfect is a word that really shouldn't even exist in the world, because there is nothing in this world that is 100% perfect. There is a flaw in everything and in everyone across the universe, across the world. Perfect is literally something that doesn't exist. And I actually watched a TikTok this morning, and some of the things that make you the most relatable on camera is, when you have a bit of a screw up, when you have a bit of a mishap, when you laugh on camera, when you can share an experience, when you can share bloopers and things like that, right? Like, you're not meant to be perfect. You want to be relatable, and making mistakes, stumbling over your words, blanking on thoughts, and having that ADHD go through your mind where you're like, I don't even remember what I was just talking about, guys. I'm so sorry. Like, I had a thought and it just completely, went into the wind. That's normal. Everybody has those experiences, and it makes you human. It humanizes you in your content. So don't be afraid to just throw the camera up and just start talking, make mistakes, do whatever, because it's all part of the learning experience. It's all part of the growth experience. I mean, even Tony Robbins, some of the greatest speakers in the world, they all screw up. They all have mishaps. They all stumble over their words once in a while. It's never, ever, ever going to be perfect. But guess what? Their true following love that about them, because again, it humanizes them. It brings them from, way up here back down to earth with the rest of us, and it makes you relatable. And that is super important in your content, is to be relatable. So honestly, like, it's not even a comfort thing. I honestly find going on camera and being in front of the camera, it's almost like a discipline thing. Like, it's something that I have to do to progress in my business. I still get uncomfortable doing it, but I have to do it because it's how I generate an income online. It's how I get to talk to you guys. It's how I get to meet all of you. It's how I get to interact with you guys. And it's just something that has to be done. You're going to get better at it as time goes on, but again, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes is all part of the process. Mistakes are a good thing as long as you look at them as a lesson.
Oh yeah, definitely. I was watching that question, and I'm ready for that one because, as comfortable as we may look right now to you, I guarantee you that, our heart rates are up. Our blood is pumping. It is it it looks like we are very comfortable with this, and we have gotten more comfortable. But I'm not going to say that we're 100% comfortable in everything that we do when it comes to putting ourselves in front of a camera. I know when we first got started, that was my big hang up in doing any of this stuff. I didn't want to get in front of a camera. I was scared to get in front of a camera. I was afraid of what other people were going to think, or what they were going to say, or what they were going to do. And it took me quite a bit of time to get past those fears and that being uncomfortable in front of a camera. Like Tyler said, I've made plenty of mistakes in a live or on a piece of content that I've put out there. And it's part of it is just learning how to deal with that and deal with those imperfections that you do. And like he said, being imperfect is relatable. If I came on here and we had some, professional production going on with no mistakes, and, everything was just streamlined, you wouldn't be able to relate to that. You wouldn't be able to say, okay, well, Ryan and Tyler are just average dudes that have made this work, right? They're professionals, right? And so when we first got started, I'll admit, anybody ever seen the Looney Tunes character Porky Pig? That's all, folks. That was me when I first got started. I couldn't string two words together on camera and make it make sense. So therefore, I was like the monkey in the video doing the pointing and the I didn't dance because I just don't dance. Nobody wants to see that, I promise you. It's not good. But that's how I got comfortable. I didn't have to speak. All I had to do was point around, put some words up on the screen, and I was like, all right, I can do that. And then after that, I had to start, all right, now I'm going to talk a little bit. And I started talking like this. And, then I'm like, all right, well, and then I figured out, hey, guess what? Now I'm more comfortable with this. I can get into it. I can get excited about it. I can be like, all right, this stuff works, guys. And get excited about things and talk about it. And starting to tell my story, I get into my story and I talk about it a little bit more because I know what those first few steps, what that got me. I know starting from there to where I'm at now, I've seen that success in the ability that now I can stand in front of a camera and talk to people and not have issues with it. Yes, it is still nerve wracking. Before Tyler and I go live, before I go live anytime, most of the time I will go do some push ups or try to do something to get the energy up in myself, get the blood pumping for me so that I have that energy so that I can portray what it is that I'm trying to talk about or that I want to talk about or help other people answer their questions. Again, it's something that takes practice. When we talk to our clients and our students, you look at other people and say, well, man, they're so comfortable in what they're doing. All right, you might be on step 2 of this journey. They may be on step 462. So don't ever compare your step 2 to their 462 steps that they've already done. Tyler and I, again, we've been at this for, 2 years on average between the two of us. And so we've got a lot of time and energy into getting more comfortable being behind camera and being on lives. If you haven't gone live yet, you can't compare that to what we're doing. All right. We all had our fumbles. We had our stumbles. We had our mistakes. We've had people call us out on them, and that's okay. We've talked about this a bunch of different times about not worrying what other people think about us, not worrying about, well, do they think I'm too fat? Do they think I'm too ugly? Do they think I'm not fit for camera? You go through all of these things, or you think, well, I'm not meant to be in front of a camera. The heck with all of that. Get out there, tell your story, get in front of that camera. Yes, it's going to be nerve-wracking. You know what? First bit of practice that I always tell our students is go out in the backyard, put the freaking phone on the camera, turn it on, make 20 videos of yourself. I guarantee you, between the first one and the 20th one, you will see a better video. You will see that you get more comfortable with that. You don't have to post it to anybody. You don't have to just send it to your friends and your family for them to see. You can see the difference between your first one and your 20th one. And the more that you do that, you will get comfortable with it. It will become second nature. Now, I'm not saying that you will ever get rid of the nervousness of being on live or being on camera. I know I haven't. It's still here.
Especially when we're out in public. I don't know about you, Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, that's where I was headed with this. Go ahead.
Like when I'm out in public, I'm not like a YouTuber, a vlogger, any of those things, right, guys? Like some of these people can go out and they can just pull out a camera and they're just talking, doing their thing. There's people walking in the background, looking at them all funny and whatever. I mean, I still get super nervous during those moments, and something for you guys out there when you're just starting out or even a year and a half down the road, like like Ryan and I are 2 years in, find yourself a comfortable space to be able to do those things in. Find yourself a quiet room in your house, find yourself a quiet space in your backyard, go out somewhere where there's not a whole lot of people and just film content by yourself. Get comfortable doing it on your own. Get comfortable in a comfortable position, in a comfortable space where you feel safe and you feel secure and you feel like you can just do your thing. And then eventually it's going to become more comfortable to do it out in different places. But again, I mean, I still struggle with it. And I know Ryan's done content down at the beach down in Florida, taking content, and I'm sure that he kind of feels a bit like, oh God, like, who's watching me? Because I know I feel like that, and it's something that we're going to overcome over time, and it's something that we're building towards, and it is going to happen because the more and more that we do it, the more comfortable we get, the less we care about what other people are looking at, what other people think. It doesn't matter. Like, we say this all the time. It doesn't matter what those people think. They're not paying our bills. They're not doing what we're doing. This is for us. This is for our business. This is for you guys. This is to reach our audience, to talk to our people, to talk to our tribe out there, right? And these are the things that we have to do in order to make that happen. So, it all starts with just, what Ryan said, film those 20 videos in your backyard in a secure room in your house, get into a comfortable space and just start filming some content and just start posting it. Believe me, because, you have to get comfortable with the fact that your first probably 50 pieces of content that you post, honestly, like I go back sometimes and I still look back at the very first pieces of content I made and I go, wow, that was some brutal content. But it's where I got my start. It's how I started. It's how I learned to grow. It's how I learned how to create better content now. It's how I learned what all of you guys out there enjoy and what you guys like hearing about and all that kind of stuff. So do I take it down? No, I leave it up because that's also part of my story. It's part of my journey. It's part of Ryan's journey. I mean, we all have videos that we go back and look at and we go, "Holy smokes, that was a real doozy." But all right, that's just part of the process. And you got to get comfortable with the fact that your first few videos, they are gonna suck, but it doesn't matter. Post them anyway. Honestly, the amount of people that are gonna see it is gonna be a drop in the bucket in comparison to the whole grand scheme of 7 billion people on the planet, right? Like not seven, not even 100,000 people are probably going to see your first video. Not even 5,000 people are probably going to see your first few videos. So just enjoy the process. It's gonna get more comfortable. It's gonna become more fun as time goes on. And I encourage all of you to find somebody like, Ryan and I and the Wealth Warriors. We are able to go live with each other. That is a huge help in becoming more comfortable on camera. And it's something that I encourage all of you to do is find an accountability partner, something like that you can go out and you can create some content with, people that can help motivate you and drive you forward. It's a huge help. So
Yeah, definitely. And going back to, what you were talking about there as far as like making sure nobody's around, making sure that you're the only one here. I, I went through all of those steps and still do to this day. I remember when we first got started, you know, nobody could be in the basement here with me when it was time for me to create content. Megan, I had to I told her, all right, you got to go upstairs. And if somebody started to come down the stairs, I just stopped everything that I was doing. Whether I was in the middle of recording something or not, I'd stop because I didn't want somebody to see what I was doing.
you got to tell these folks about the red light that you built.
Oh yeah, yeah. So we have a, coming down into our basement, there's a stairway light right there. And so we put a smart bulb in there so that whenever I was recording content, I could turn that bulb red for our kids and for Megan and whoever would be in the house that would know that if that light was red, Ryan was doing something down in the basement, not to come down there. And so, that worked. Of course, that worked for a while, with the kids. They, now they just come downstairs quieter instead of just not coming down. So, but, you go through steps like that. I remember, I've got videos of me out on our boat, out on the lake, not a frickin' soul around for miles. And it was still hard for me standing there on the boat by myself with not a single soul anywhere around for me to hit that record button. Like what? The fish are going to make fun of me? The bird's going to do something? But it was still hard for me to hit that record button and talk. So I get those fears. I get those struggles. But let me ask you this. If you could make, let's say, $20,000 a month, and all it took was for you to start getting in front of a camera and hitting that record button. I mean, if you've got a 9-to-5 that you absolutely dread and absolutely hate going to work every single day, and you're looking for a better opportunity in life, and I said, hey, if you would start getting in front of a camera, start creating content, and you would be on your way to $20,000 a month on an income, would you do it? I know for me, somebody told me those exact same words. When we first got started with this, I told you that was my struggle. That was a huge struggle for me, was getting in front of camera. And so for the first few months, 2 or 3 months, I didn't want to do it. And then finally, again, that same mentor that helped me out earlier, I got on a call with them and they were like, look, here's the deal. If you truly want this, you truly want to be successful at this, you want to have that freedom, that financial freedom, that time freedom that you were searching for, this is what you need to do. You need to get in front of that camera. You need to make these videos. Or you can go to that job interview that you got and start a 9 to 5 next week. And you can go down that path. So, that was the path that was laid before me. I was like, all right, I've been down this road of a 9 to 5 my entire life. I know what's there. I know what that's all about. I've got dreams and visions over here that I would love to make that kind of income. I'd love to spend more time with my family. I'd love to travel. I'd love to do all these things. And I know if I go down the 9 to 5 path, I'm not going to be able to achieve those goals. I'm not going to get that time freedom. I'm not going to get that financial freedom. So really, is it all it takes is for me to get in front of this camera and start creating those videos? Is that what it takes for me to achieve my goals and my dreams? Decision time, Ryan. What do I do? All right, I'm going to do it. And like Tyler said, I stepped in front of the camera and it sucked.
Yep.
They were horrible videos. But I did it and I kept going with it. And now, we're hitting $20,000 and $30,000 months, and we've got our eyes set on, 6-figure months. And hopefully to get that 7 figures that we've been looking for. That's all our goals that we keep trying to achieve. And it all started with stepping in front of the camera. So again, yes, it is uncomfortable in the beginning, but you got to do it.
And getting comfortable on camera and filming content might lead into your next question. If you're still here, I don't know who the Facebook user was, but well, how do you guys come up with your content ideas? How do you guys make all your content? Where do you even come up with all this stuff? And in the beginning for both of us, and still to this day, I mean, we scroll social media with intent, looking for different sounds, looking for other creators that are doing something that we like, and we make it into our own. We make it fit our niche, things like that. And this goes into another thing that the Wealth Warriors are doing. All of us as the Wealth Warriors with our bonus package that we're giving you guys is we're actually helping you guys to have that content right out of the gate. We are actually posting 100 of our best pieces of content that we've ever created, our best, highest converting content, the content that gets us the most engagement. All of that stuff is available there for you guys when you join in with our program and you go through our mentors program. You actually get a bonus of having the Wealth Warriors and having our team that has been successful, that has created bespoke content, that has done all of these things. You guys actually get to literally take that content, recreate it as your own. You can use the same kind of copy on there. You can use the same kind of text, the same kind of writing, all that stuff. We literally give that to you guys as a bonus to help you out. And that content has generated multi-million dollars in revenue. Okay. Like, it literally has generated multi-million dollars in revenue. All right. It is insane how that content has worked for us and helped us generate, income for our businesses. And it's a common question that we get asked a lot on these lives from people is like, how do you create that content? How do you get comfortable on camera? How do you do all these things? And, again, we've heard you and we want to help you guys out by giving you guys some of that content for you guys to be able to use so that, basically your first 100 videos is all done for you. All you have to do is pick up that camera and recreate that piece of content and turn it into your own. And it's already there. The idea is there and you just go, exactly. Caroline said it perfectly there. Just put your own twist on it. But we have all of the videos, we have all the copywriting, we have all the content there for you to grab and use as your own so that you don't have to struggle with coming up with ideas and, how am I going to do this? What does my lighting need to look like? All that kind of stuff. You can just simply go out into the backyard and start filming some content and making it great. And then after your first 100 pieces, you're going to start to get comfortable. You're going to start to, maybe even after your first 20 pieces, you're going to start to be like, okay, like I'm starting to get the hang of this thing. I kind of know what my audience wants. I know what they like. I know how to engage with them. I'm getting some good engagement on my posts. I'm talking to people. People are telling me what they like, what they don't like, all those things. And that's going to help you to generate your own bespoke, custom kind of content that you're going to be able to speak to your audience with. So, something awesome that we're doing here as the Wealth Warriors. We hear you guys, honestly, like every comment, every criticism, every question that we get, we really study those things and say, how can we make this better, simpler, faster for the end person who's trying to build their business, but they're just struggling with how to get started. They're struggling with, how to write copy. They're struggling with, who can I talk to? How can I have a group of people that are going to be supportive and really mentor me and help me through the tough times? All those things, we've really heard you guys, and that's why we've built this massive bonus package for you guys. And the $1 million content library is just part of that bonus package, and something that everybody's going to find extremely useful, especially when you're just getting started with creating content. So hopefully that's helpful. If you guys want in on that, or you want to hear more about those bonuses, definitely shoot us I want in, or I want to hear about the content library, something like that. Shoot us a DM, whatever it is, whatever platform you're watching this on. Just go ahead and reach out to us. We'll be happy to share with you guys, all of the different bonuses that we're actually giving out in that package, because it's pretty insane.
Yep, indeed. And when we get started with a lot of this stuff, I know for me specifically, I'm kind of OCD about things, and I want things to be perfect. And I know we talked about this a little bit earlier in the broadcast. You have to get past that, perfection stage. You know, Imperfect action is better than no action at all. It's one of those things where, again, we can't expect things to be perfect. It's not going to be. If that's what's holding you back, let's go. Get out there, post it out there. That's the best way to get past it. Um, a lot of people think, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to use TikTok. I don't know how to create a video. Again, when you go out to the backyard and you create those first 20 videos, just play around with things. Figure out
You didn't
what
know how to ride a bike for the first time either, right? You
exactly.
probably all fell.
Exactly.
We've all fallen, right? I mean, when was the last time any of you went out and tried something brand new for the first time and succeeded 100% on the first try? Tell me honestly,
Yeah.
because I doubt it happened. We've
Right.
all fallen. We've all landed on the ground. We've all scraped our knees. We've all had trials and tribulations to help get us to where we're at. That's part of leveling up. You can't level up without having a bit of a setback, because it's always two step forward, one step back, two step forward, one step back, because that's part of growth. That's part of learning. It's the most important part of growth, is having those minor setbacks that you can be self-aware enough about to say, hey, I learned from that experience. Now I know what to not do there. I'm going to try this instead and see if that works. And all of a sudden you're riding a bike like a pro.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. It's all about getting out there, doing it, getting started. You know, we've done it. We have a lot of students that are doing it. And I know that there's a lot of you out there that have been thinking about doing it and wanting to. Maybe you've been looking and watching us and following us for months or even a couple of years now. So now is the best time to get in, especially with that bonus package that we're talking about. Again, weekly lifetime coaching, the $1 million content library. I mean, these bonuses are pretty freaking stout bonuses. A 2-day virtual mastermind with the Wealth Warrior coaches. There's a lot of great bonuses that we're offering for people to help them get started. And again, these are all bonuses for just coming in and joining the program that is taking people from 0 to 10K in less than 90 days. And it's absolutely amazing. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, make sure, again, like Tyler said, leave us a hashtag Wealth Warriors. Leave us a hashtag I want in. We'll reach out to you with some more details, get you kind of going. We've got a free 2.5-hour training that we can send you guys for you guys to take a look at and see if, and it explains a little bit more about what it is that we do and how we go about doing it. And so then if you guys are interested, we'll get you set up in the right manner. We'll get you those bonuses. We'll get you guys started so that you can find that time freedom, that financial freedom that you've really been looking for. So again, we thank you all for being here. It's been about an hour, I think, that we've been on here. So It's been great having all of you guys again. If you're watching this on a replay, make sure you leave us a hashtag replay. If you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to Tyler, myself, or any of the Wealth Warrior coaches. We're happy to help you guys. We want to see you guys succeed. That's what we're all about. Yes, we have had success ourselves, but it's all about helping our students grow. Again, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, we've got a student here this last weekend that just informed us they are putting their 2 weeks in at their job. So we have yet another successful student that is able to walk away from their 9 to 5 and become a full-time online digital marketer. And it's absolutely amazing to see our students crushing it and getting these results. So again, feel free to reach out to us. If you guys are looking for us, we'll be live again this week. We're trying to put together one with the entire Wealth Warrior team. So just make sure that you're following us on whatever page that you're watching us on now. Make sure that you hit that button to get notifications for when we go lives. And again, we do appreciate it. Tyler, you got any final words there?
Yeah, just honestly, thank you guys so much for being here. The support's awesome. We love the questions. If you guys are struggling in your business at all, like now is the time to ask those questions when we come live. You know, we love to share experience, and it's just great to have you guys all here. We appreciate the support so much, and we hope to see you guys on the next one.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks a lot, guys, and we'll see you on the next live.